Good morning, beloveds. And that was me bumping the table and knocking the camera off. Oh well. Okay. What I was going to say was it was 75 when I got up yesterday, and it's 30 when I got up this morning. And our high's only supposed to get into maybe the mid 40s. So today, winter is here. And it'll last for, 2 days, and then we'll go back to, I think we'll finally go back to normal temperatures for this time of year, where the lows are going to be in the 50s and the highs are going to be in the 60s. I don't know. All I know is that my AC was running yesterday, and last night before I went to bed, I turned the heat on, and the heat kicked on in the middle of the night. So, which tells you that my house has no insulation. So, these houses aren't built for this. All right. It is January 2nd, and we are still in the 365 days of richer living. I'm not changing books until April. And Jesse's already picked out my next book. Although he is protective of his book, so I'm like, loan it to me and let me see if I can find a copy of it. Because this one's kind of ragged after me being every day for, 3/4 of a year. All right. January 2nd. Today I shall guard my thoughts, seeing to it that nothing emanates from my consciousness other than that which will bless, build up, and heal. And again, we have 3 quotes. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. And that is Galatians 5:15. He who injures another is sure to be injured by them in return. And that is Kwang Z, KWANG-TZE. I destroy the ignorance or darkness by the shining lamp of wisdom. And that is the Bhagavad Gita. This lesson teaches us the lesson of cause and effect, the plaything of the soul. In the long run, as Emerson tells us, if we seek to harm another, but we find that we are beating our own bleeding breasts. Men of spiritual wisdom have always taught that our thoughts and acts ride on a return circuit, and that they never fail to react upon us until we have transcended the negative causation set in motion by such acts. This is why we are taught that we should do unto others what we would like them to do unto us. It is the old law of the returning circle. In this law alone can we find exact justice and thorough understanding. Exact justice and thorough understanding this law comes to realize with Robert Browning. All's love, yet all's law. The universe imposes neither evil nor limitation upon us, nor can we impose evil or limitation upon it. However, being free agents, we may and must experience, at least temporarily, the results of our own acts. As the Gita tells us, the lamp of wisdom shining in the darkness of ignorance alone can free us. Realizing that the universe has bestowed upon me the divine right to be affected by my own act, today I shall guard all of my thoughts, seeing to it that nothing emanates from my consciousness other than that which blesses, builds, and heals. I shall not worry about the consequences, for they already exist in the mathematical law of cause and effect. This law of cause and effect is not something that governs me. Quite the reverse. It is something which I govern. If nothing goes forth from me that can hurt, then nothing can return to me which can harm. The knowledge of this makes me wise. The consciousness of good at the center of my being is my sanctuary. Really, Gabby? You're yelling and they can't see you. Where are you going? Okay. There's a medieval quote, and I forget who it's by, that he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. And that is pretty much what Ernest is talking about here, the law of cause and effect. What we put out, we get back. So it is important for us to start with our thoughts. If we think negative thoughts, then that's what's going to show up in the world around us. If we think positive thoughts, then that is what's going to show up around us. What we do to others is done to us. And part of that comes back to the law, and part of it comes back to being one. We're part of a oneness, and what we do to each other, we are doing to ourselves. What we do to our brothers and sisters, we are doing to ourselves. So, why? Why cause harm? When we cause harm out of ignorance, okay. When we learn better, then we cause harm out of knowledge, then that is where evil comes in. We are misusing the law because the law doesn't judge. My fire alarm hates my oven, and my husband is in the kitchen cooking, so you have no concern for that noise. Which is the law of cause and effect. We're cooking, the fire alarm is going off. And we know this, so but that's what he's gone back to the basics. Every January, pretty much all of Science Mind goes back to the basics and says, okay, here's how it works. So today he tackled the law of cause and effect. What you put out, you get back. It's also called karma. And karma isn't a bad thing, because when you do good things, then karma brings you good things, and when you do bad things, then, it's reciprocal. It's reciprocal. Or as he said, the returning circle. What you put out, you get back. Why not put out good? Why not put out blessings? Why not think blessings? Isn't that what we all want? And Jesse more than once has made the assertion that everything done is somebody looking for their good. Sometimes people are looking for their good in ways that hurt other people. And so it's up to us to help them understand, to lift that lamp of wisdom that the Bhagavad Gita referred to, so that we all understand our actions and their effect on other people. So, all right, which is why we have such a long title. I was about to be very British right there. Today I shall guard my thoughts, seeing to it that nothing emanates from my consciousness other than that which will bless, build up, and heal. I have 2 orange cats, and one of them is objecting to the other one, so I shall guard my thoughts. And that's where it starts. It starts in our own consciousness. We can't fix anybody, but we can guard our own consciousness and our own thoughts. So, the Galatians, this is one of the ones where I'm going to go look it up. Tom ended up finding a copy of the Word, which is where they translated it into modern language. Go look this one up in that. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. And that's Galatians 5:15. He who injures another is sure to be injured by them in return. Kwanzi. I destroy the ignorance-born darkness by shining the lamp of wisdom. The Bhagavad Gita. All right. And it's like, all right, you know what? If you bite, they're going to bite back. If you injure somebody, it's going to come back to you. And then the Bhagavad Gita says, well, you know how to stop that? So, and he starts it out by saying, this lesson teaches us the law of cause and effect. All right? What we do causes effects. The plaything of the soul is what he calls it. In the long run, As Emerson tells us, if we seek to harm another, we but find that we are beating our own bleeding breast. Why would we see and that's one of those things I truly don't understand, why people hurt each other. Yes, in the moments I do. In the moments I do. Sometimes when people do things that hurt me, I want to lash back. But I understand that when people want to hurt me, they don't want to hurt me. They're angry, they're hurt, they're wanting to hurt somebody else. It's not about me. It's not personal. And if I can remember that and not take it personally, then I don't lash back. I don't hurt back. Because hurt people don't need to be more hurt. They need to be healed. And while I cannot heal them, that is their own job to heal themselves, what I can do is not hurt them. And when I don't hurt them, then it gives them a chance to heal. All right. And that's how we do it. Men of spiritual wisdom, I would say people of spiritual wisdom, have always taught that our thoughts and acts ride on a return circuit and that they never fail to react upon us until we have transcended the negative causations set in motion by such acts. Which is why the buck stops here. It's like, okay, I see that you are hurting. I see that you are seeking to hurt me. And you are not necessarily seeking to hurt me because of who I am. I have nothing to do with it. You're just hurting. And you want the pain to stop. You want to transfer your pain to me. Well, one, I'm not going to take it. And two, I'm not going to make yours worse by reacting to your pain. The best that I can do is respond to your pain or not respond at all. All right. So you have a choice. You can respond kindly, compassionate, what have you, or you can not respond at all. And you have to make the best choice for you. But the point is to not react to the hurt and to not take it personally. Because like I said, 9 times out of 10, when people reach out to hurt you, it has nothing to do with you. It is because they are hurting. And again, you are not responsible for healing them. But as I think the Dalai Lama says, if you can't help them, then at least don't hurt them. And you're not responsible for their healing, but you are responsible for not hurting them more in return. This is why we are taught that we should do to others what we would like them to do to us, which is why we respond with kindness, with compassion, with love, or with no response at all. All right? Because that is an acceptable answer. Sometimes in the face of me being ridiculous, the best response is nothing. It's like, and then I can stop and go, I'm being ridiculous. I need to stop that. It is, or kindly pointing out that I'm being ridiculous. It is the old law of the returning circle. In this law alone can we find exact justice, and through understanding this law, come to realize, with Robert Browning, and here's a quote, all's love, yet all is law. In this law alone can we find exact justice. What we do to other people will be done to us. The long arm of the law trends towards justice. Or the long arm of eternity trends towards justice. That's an Emerson quote. The universe imposes neither evil nor limitation upon us, nor can we impose evil or limitation upon it. Okay, so the universe doesn't do it to us. We can't do it to the universe, but we can do it to each other. To the point that we are willing to accept it from each other. So, as he says, however, being free agents, we may and must experience, at least temporarily, the results of our own acts. Meaning that when we do evil, then it will come back to roost. But he says at least it's temporary. When we know better, we will do better. Thank you, Maya Angelou. As the Gita tells us, the lamp of wisdom shining in the darkness of ignorance alone can free us. When we know who we are. realizing that the universe has bestowed upon me the divine right to be affected by my own act today, or by my own act. Today, I shall guard all of my thoughts, seeing to it that nothing emanates from my consciousness other than that which blesses, builds, and heals. I will guard all of my thoughts. And that's why I like to talk about the trend of your thought. Individual thoughts, okay? We all have them. And when we see those weeds, we pluck them out. So we want to watch the trend of our thoughts. Are we getting more weeds than we are flowers? And if we are, why? What do we need to do? What do we need to change? Sometimes we just need a nap. Sometimes we need to eat something. Sometimes we need to go and spend some time. Maybe we need to focus a little more on our spiritual practice, which is why we do it every day. So what are the trend of your thoughts? Because where your trend goes is where your thoughts go. And if you've got a lot of weeds cropping up, you're not guarding your thoughts well enough, you got a lot of weeds cropping up, then you need to go back and look at your environment. You know, look at the people around you, look at what you are consuming in, literature, and I quit watching the news. I just needed a break. I couldn't do it anymore. It was definitely affecting the trend of my thought. And it was hard to think those blessing, building, healing thoughts watching the news. So I quit. All right? Check your environment. It's what they say, when a flower fails to bloom, you don't beat up the flower, you look at its environment. Does it need more water, less water? Does it need more sunlight? Does it need less sunlight? Does it need a change of dirt? Check your environment. I shall not worry about the consequences, for they already exist in the mathematical law of cause and effect. You only worry about the consequences when you do something that isn't right. Other than that, the consequences, they'll come back to you, and they won't be consequences. This law of cause and effect is not something that governs me. Okay? Interesting thought. And don't worry about the consequences for others. Don't. If you get caught up in that can definitely take you down a path you don't want to go. Okay, so the law of cause and effect is not something that governs me. Quite the reverse. It is something which I govern. How do I govern it? By understanding how it works and being very conscious about the causes. It's like, I know how these effects are created, then it is up to me to be aware of my causes. And that's about guarding my thoughts. If nothing goes forth from me that can hurt, then nothing can return to me which can harm. The knowledge of this makes me wise. The consciousness of the good at the center of my being is sanctuary. All right? The consciousness of the good at the center of my being is my sanctuary. Knowing who I am is my sanctuary. Knowing that I am a beloved child of God. Knowing that I am a godly. Knowing that at the center of me is a soul. A soul that is part of a greater whole and part of a greater good. That's my sanctuary. So when things happen around me that are messy, when people around me are messy, and let's be honest, we're all messy sometimes, then I go back to the center of me, into that good, and know it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. And it may take some time to sort out, but it's going to be okay. All right, beloveds. The mission. Ooh. I don't know. I think I'm going to take a different track today. I think I'm going to use that quote from the Bhagavad Gita as our mission today. The mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to destroy the ignorance-born darkness by shining the lamp of wisdom. Today, shining the lamp of wisdom. What does that even mean? By understanding cause and effect, by understanding that when hurt people come at us in an attempt to hurt us, that it's not personal. That really honestly is the biggest lamp that we can hold up. If we can understand that people hurting us isn't about us, that it's not personal, then we can choose our response. And we can choose no response, or we can choose a kindly response. We can't fix them, we can't heal them, but we don't have to hurt them. And that is the first step where they can find their path to healing. They can find their path to fixing themselves. So let's guard our thoughts today. Let's lift that lamp of wisdom. Let's be the godlings that we are. Let's be the sanctuary that we can be. The sanctuary to ourselves and the sanctuary to other people. And I'm not saying that you have to take in people who are hurting you. Absolutely not. Which is why I tell you that one of the things you can do is not respond. You got somebody in your life that just says things that hurt. Don't respond to them. And don't spend time with them. You know? Take care of yourself. And that is part of lifting that lamp. And if people start to wonder, well, why don't you ever spend time with me? Well, you know what? Because you're not safe to be around. And law of cause and effect says so. All right, beloveds. That took kind of a weird turn. It's going to be an interesting day. It's because it's really cold out there, which is good for snuggling. I'm about to snuggle this cat down because she's in here purring away. She's almost 17, so I give her a pass when she's cranky. But whatever else you do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like. And today, if it's staying in, snuggling down and staying warm, that's a good thing. If it's going out and getting into that brisk air and taking a deep breath of cold weather, and I'm hoping that the snow in Colorado helped take care of those grass fires. But whatever is loving, kind, and compassionate for you. We bought some, they're called chocolate bombs. They're literally big cups and they have cocoa in them, and so it hasn't been cold enough to use them. So that's going to be my loving, kind, and compassionate thing. I'm going to enjoy myself a cup of cocoa today. And really, savor it, because it's going to be an experience. And that's something that you can do. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's really about self-care. Because when you take care of yourself, you respond better to people who are hurt. And we can break that law. We can break that cause and effect of hurt people. We don't break the law. We just use the law correctly. Like, okay, this cause, this effect, I'm not playing into this cause. I'm not playing into this effect. I'm going to be the beloved child of God that I am, and I'm going to know you for the beloved child of God that you are, and I'm going to know that you figured this out. So, okay. I also would encourage you, unless today is your day of rest, as it is mine, to do something to engage your mind and your body today. Mine's going to be a nap. And, drink plenty of water, although today it may be hot water or hot liquid. And get some sun, early morning sun, help reset that pattern. But whatever else you do, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. It's right here, right now, all around you. It's about looking for the good and praising it. And understanding the law of cause and effect. You have a good cause, you'll get a good effect. So go out and use that law consciously, especially with each other. All right, beloveds. I want to encourage you to have a great day, an amazing day, a wondrous day, a wintry day, a brisk day, a breezy day, a see your breath in the air day, an awe-filled day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. All right, beloveds. We will have an amazing service for you, the first service of the new year, in a little bit, right here on Facebook Live or later on YouTube. So please join us for that, and know that Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. and I will be back with you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day. Know that you're loved, and I'll see you soon.